If you have bought a game on Steam in the last 5 years, you have probably wasted money. I don't mean you bought a bad game, I mean you paid more than you needed to for the exact same title. For years, Steam's bundle system has been a minefield. You buy a game for $20 only to realize 5 minutes later that a complete collection bundle, which includes that game and the others in the series, was on sale for $15. You effectively paid $5 extra just to get less content. But the thing is, Valve just fixed this. In a quiet update that they didn't really advertise, Steam now actively warns you if you're about to make a bad purchase. This is another one of their pro-consumer updates. Let's look at what actually changed because the feature is simple. If you add a standalone game to your cart, Steam now checks if that game exists inside a complete bundle that is currently cheaper than the standalone price. If it finds one, you get an alert right in the cart. Take a look at Unrailed 2. The standalone price for me is around $18, but the Unrailed collection bundle, which includes the first game, is actually cheaper at roughly $17.78. Before this update, you would have just bought the game and moved on. Now Steam stops you and says, hey, pay 40 cents less and get an extra game for free. This may sound familiar because this is actually a feature that hardcore Steam users have had for a while, but only if they use some browser extensions. The fact that Valve has finally baked this natively into the client is huge because your average person won't be using those extra extensions, so it brings a niche feature to everyone. In fact, when this feature first appeared, many people assumed it was an old setting that they had accidentally turned off, or people just seeing it for the first time. But XPaw, the creator of SteamDB, confirmed that this is a 100% brand new feature by Valve. The thing is, the savings with this new alert can be massive, not just a few cents like our first example. Users found that Steam World Dig 2 was sitting at $19.99, but because of how the bundle pricing worked, the Dig 1 and 2 bundle was only $3. Without this warning, you would be paying $20. With the warning, you now pay $3. That is a $17 saving that Steam is practically waving in your face. To understand why this is happening, we have to look beyond just owning games. This new warning is actually designed to fix a broken dynamic in Steam's discount hierarchy. Steam has two main ways for you to save money. Number one is the individual game sale. Let's say a standalone game is 50% off, but then there's also the bundle discount, where you can put an entire collection inside the bundle for, let's say, 70% off. In many cases, the bundle's overall discount is so aggressive that the bundle's final price is lower than the price of a single game inside it, which is why we get these situations where even though you're buying more games, it's actually cheaper than if you just buy one. This happens even if you own none of the games in the collection, like with John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, where you can save a few dollars just for getting it in a bundle. This warning's primary job is to catch that discount inversion where the bigger bundle discount beats the smaller individual game discount. So us getting this new alert is a massive leap in consumer friendliness, as the people who are benefiting are the players who get to spend less money. Now, it's also important to note that some are just passing this off as Steam trying to upsell you to buy bigger bundles to spend more money, which may be true for some bundles with tons of games, but it's important to know that the alert only triggers if the total dollar amount is lower than you just buying the game by itself. It does not trigger if the bundle costs more, even if it offers better value. For example, if you add A Plague Tale: Innocence and Requiem to your cart separately, it might cost $90, but this is a bundle that's available for $70. But currently, unless you are buying the specific item that triggers the cheaper flag, the system often misses these upsell savings. So while the new alert is a great safety net for many games like we've seen with Steam World Dig, you may still want to check the Steam store page manually to make sure you aren't leaving any savings on the table. With a feature this useful that's allowing you to save some extra money that you wouldn't even notice, the obvious question is, why did Valve wait this long, or why are they even adding it in the first place? And the community has two main theories. The first and most compelling is that this is a proactive step to comply with increasingly strict consumer protection laws, mainly in regions like Australia and the European Union. This theory has a major historical backing, as some users will point to past legal battles where Valve lost in Australia with the ACCC over their refund policies. This was the 2016 lawsuit lawsuit where the federal court ruled Valve had misled consumers for years, resulting in a $3 million fine. That lawsuit directly forced Steam to adopt its modern, no questions asked refund policy that is so like today. While they don't have any laws that strictly mandate this warning, it does force companies to clearly display prices and prevents confusing pricing. And making a bundle cheaper than a single item could be confusing to some users. So the new bundle warning is the next logical step in this compliance. The old policy fixed a mistake after you paid, and this new feature prevents the mistake before you pay. This feature would act as a shield, letting Valve argue they are actively preventing consumer confusion if any other lawsuits come up in the future about this. The second theory players have is just long-term customer goodwill. But let's be honest, the ACCC isn't the only reason Valve does this. It's part of a much bigger intentional strategy to ensure customer loyalty, which is why other game stores won't have the same features. You can see this everywhere else on the platform. Take Steam Cloud Saves. They don't charge developers extra for cloud storage, making it the industry standard unlike some competitors. Or even family sharing, where you can securely share your game library with family members on different PCs, a feature that is still unmatched by most platforms. One of the most underrated is Steam Input, which gives you robust free tools to use virtually any controller while you are gaming. These aren't just regular technical features, they're all fundamentally pro-consumer features that build goodwill over time. If they really wanted to, Valve could simply say, you can't use any other controller than our own, but they don't. Valve's business model is built on the simple idea, don't nickel and dime the user, give them the best ecosystem, and they will never have a reason to leave. This bundle alert is just the latest proof of that philosophy. It's not like they are making more money with this feature. In fact, they are technically losing some. But remember, if the system fails or if you buy a game that goes on sale or is cheaper in a bundle the next day, you luckily have a backup plan. You can still use the Steam refund system. Just select it's now available cheaper as your reason and Steam will understand. The official rule is you must be within the standard 14-day purchase window and have less than 2 hours of playtime. If you meet that criteria, selecting it's now available cheaper if the game goes on sale is a guaranteed win. Even if you are outside the 2-hour 14-day limit, you can still talk to Steam support about it. Look at this situation. A user bought a game and it went on sale shortly after. The first automated response was no because they were outside of the limit, but the user wrote back saying pretty please, and Steam's response back was a kind, we've made an exception for you, which happens commonly as long as you are nice to Steam support. And this isn't abusing the system as some might say. If someone actually tries to abuse Steam's refund policy, it just leads to a refund ban for that account. All you need to do is accurately explain the situation that the game you bought is now on sale and Steam will likely understand. To stay up to date for everything about Steam, like this video and don't forget to subscribe.